Hi, Conrad. I'm going to enter your contest with the help of the Talking Heads. I got your note about going through the 45s, and there must be something with flowers on it. I looked through a lot of my 45s, surprisingly. Not too many of them had flowers on them. In fact, I could really only find 2 examples, and one was not too much. But I did find Flowers by Talking Heads. It's what's being played right now. I'll be getting in trouble for that. But oddly enough, there's no flowers on the 45 sleeve. And on the back, it's all greenery. It's just all leaves and water lilies and whatnot. So that's one example. I'm not doing the answers in order because I'm just trying to shake things up and be difficult. So I did find a few 45s though that had some flowers on the cover. Good old Ringo with his roses. Rock my brain. There's another one here from George. You look right there. Flowers. So that's it for my 45 examples. I do have a few others. Some that I was going to choose, some I was kind of not so sure about. And at the last minute, I decided, I think I'll go with that instead of that. The obvious one that I came up with first in my head was this one, which is probably the best example I can think of. But isn't really the if I was going to choose one, it's going to be another one that's very subtle. But this one's pretty obvious for me, at least. And that's Paul McCartney's Flowers in the Dirt. So I think it's a beautiful photograph taken by, I think Linda took it, Linda McCartney. But I really like this cover. It's a good album too. It's got it's one that grew on me for a while. It's got a lot of songs that a few songs that he and Elvis Costello collaborated on. So that's the song Flowers in the Dirt. In fact, it's a great song lyrically, and it's the story that it tells. And they both do a version of it. Paul does his version on his album, and Elvis Costello does a version on one of his albums. I can't remember which album that was. But anyway, it's definitely worth looking up. Might be Spike that he did it on, but definitely worth looking at. So that would be one of my possible entries for the album cover, Flowers in the Dirt, Paul McCartney. Leave it on display. I did pick up the Icky Blossoms 45. It says blossoms on it. There aren't any flowers, I don't think. No flowers. But the word blossoms there technically counts. Technically. But the one I kind of chose that I thought was going to be the most interesting is this one by the Tourists. And if you're familiar with the Tourists, you know that they are the Eurythmics before they were the Eurythmics. They released a couple of albums, one called Luminous Basement and this one called Reality Effect. And for the longest time, I thought all this stuff you see here are flower petals and flowers. And then I went back and looked at the album cover, and no, it's paint splatters and paint all over the table and everything looking down. But Annie's in a wedding dress, and she's holding, well, she's not holding, she's holding something. But she does have flowers on her wedding dress, but she has flowers right at the top of her head. And I'm going to lose focus, but because this isn't made to be focused too close up, so I got to. But anyway, you look this up, and there it is. So that's my flower entry for album cover, even though I showed a few. It's a great album as well as Luminous Basement by the Tourists. Let's see. Well, I did have one other, which I think I'll go ahead and show. A little out of order. I was going to show it first, and this is Squeeze's album called Frank. And surrounding Frank, if that is in fact Frank, I guess it is. It's on his shell. Are all these little flowers circling him. I don't have a lot of album covers or albums with flowers on them. Can't figure out why. That's just the way it is. Let's see. Here's a spell. Where does it go there? That's way out of order. So it doesn't really work. These are records I got a file still. So let's see. My favorite flower is gladiola. I like gladiolas. They're not a flower you see a lot of, and they take a little bit of patience because you got to plant them in the winter, and then you got to wait almost all summer, I think, or close to the summer, to actually see them and enjoy them. And they're up briefly, and although some bloom at different times of the days, but yeah, it's just a little bit easier. It's a little bit more work than just going out and buying some flowers and putting them someplace. I just always enjoyed them. I used to plant them with my mom in the backyard when I was a kid. I think that's why they're my favorite. So, gladiolas. So, that's mine. The other part is to recite this, and I'm going to do it without looking at what I have up on the screen. I can do this. Roses are red, violets are blue. PJ is queen. Yes, this is true. Just want to make sure I got it right. PJ Harvey we're talking about. I don't know PJ Harvey. I recognize the name. I don't know any of the music. So a good response to this would be recommend to me a good PJ Harvey song or album to kind of get into. So anyway. Oh, and now we've moved into Tim Finn's song Dead Flowers, which is appropriate because we're coming to the end of this post. So there you go. Oh, one other thing. Guess your favorite flower. I've got two in mind. I don't know which one to go for. It's either going to be iris or, and I think this is going to be my official answer, snapdragon. It's just a wild guess, shot in the dark. But I'm guessing either iris or snapdragon. I'm going to go with snapdragon. Because if you take the flower and you pinch it off, and then at the back of it, you sort of squeeze it. When I was a kid, I used to squeeze it. It makes the mouth open up and like a dragon. I had a fun childhood. Had lots of toys. But what you can find in nature to turn into a toy, snapdragons. So I'm going to go with snapdragon because it's just a strange, interesting, unusual flower. There you go. Anyway, thanks, Conrad, and I'm glad I signed up with your channel. Looking forward to checking out all your back posts, which every one of them is pretty entertaining, pretty interesting. So thanks for posting all those posts and doing all that hard work making them. And thanks for having this contest. It's kind of fun. And it's got me back into doing some posts, so I'm going to do another post. I still got all my 45 surrounding me. I don't know what to do. Anyway, take care.